If you're interested in Deceive Inc. and all things related to Deceive Inc., then you've come to the right place. I'm Platter, deceiving, and I love this game. So, I feel like I'm in a good place to talk about the game. I'm not someone that's going to have, well, obviously I am biased because, I love the game, but I'm the type of person where I can be, I can say my honest thoughts about things that I do and don't like. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. We're going to be talking about all things Deceive Inc. And I've got some notes, so I'm going to be referring to those or looking back at those while I do this podcast. So Deceive Inc. is developed by Sweet Bandit Studios. I believe it's their second game. Maybe they've had other games, like tiny, smaller games before. But as far as I know, it's their second game. Their first game was called Coffins. It was like a party game, kind of like a fighting party game. And yeah, I never heard of it until I heard of Deceive Inc. So I don't know how big or huge or like what kind of waves it made, but yeah, I do know that they've at least got some experience of, a multiplayer game. The publishers are Tripwire. They're known for a few popular games. The ones that I know them mostly for are Chivalry and Chivalry 2, the medieval, what do you call it? Arena brawler? I don't know what you would class it as, but you basically go around slapping people with swords and medieval weapons and all that kind of stuff. Deceive Inc. It's a very unique game. I feel like I always struggle to describe it to people because it's just different. Like you ain't come across a game like Deceive Inc. before, and that's what I respect Tripwire and Sweet Bandit Studios for, because it's so easy to just pump out the same old run and gun FPS or run and gun battle royale. This one is different. They've tapped into the extraction shooter genre, which has been made quite popular by Escape from Tarkov. And it's not like a clone of Escape from Tarkov, but you can see that maybe it was influenced by Escape from Tarkov, but it's not just influenced by Escape from Tarkov, because it reminds me of Among Us as well, the whole trying to blend in, act like you're doing tasks. It reminds me a little bit of hero shooters as well, because each agent has their own abilities and there's gadgets as well. There's weapons. Each agent has their own weapon. So yeah, like there's just so many different genres and influences. I feel like in this game, it's a nice little pot of just different things. I like it. Unfortunately, the game isn't on older gen platforms. It's on PS5 and Xbox Series and PC. So if you're a PS4 or a Nintendo Switch or Xbox One, is it Xbox One? Xbox One user, then I'm sorry, but you're not in luck, because yeah, it's not on those platforms. So yeah, you just got to get your money up and, get onto the current gen of consoles. I don't even have a PS5 myself, so I'm kind of annoyed myself, but that's how it is. I got a PC, luckily, that I built myself. So yeah, we're going to be talking about literally basically everything in the game. I'm just going to give my first thought, whatever comes to my head on that, basically. If you're completely new to Deceive Inc., then you might not have a clue what I'm talking about with some parts, but if you're getting into it, then you might want to, just take a few notes or just take some mental notes. So gathering intel in Deceive Inc., your intel is basically your currency. You use intel to open doors, you use your intel to buy ammo, and you use it to heal or buy healing as well. I believe those are the only three things you can use intel for. Oh, and you also use intel for when you have the briefcase, which is the most important thing. If you get the briefcase, you can basically use your intel to have wall hacks And yeah, so if you don't have any intel, then you can't have any wall hacks. And when you have the package, you're going to be getting pinged on the map, so other spies know where you are. So you need something to, counteract that. So the, Sweet Bandit Studios, they've thought of a clever way to, balance it out a bit and give you an incentive to get the briefcase. Otherwise, who's going to get the briefcase? Because you're getting pinged all the time. There's no real reason to get a briefcase if everyone's going to know where you are and you have no clue where everyone else is. It's almost like a handicap. So what they've done is they've made the briefcase basically give you wall hacks, but you have to use your intel. So you scan on console, I think is it L2? No, it's L1. You L1 to scan using with the briefcase, but it uses intel. So yeah, those are the few things that you can use intel for. I think when you collect intel, it's quite easy, it's quite straightforward. It comes in sizes between 1 and 4 intel. The default that you start off with is 0 intel, and you can go up to 10 intel. You can get intel from basically just electronics laying around. And I feel like it's a nice way of getting currency without it being you just go there and pick up currency. In a lot of games, there's like just currency on the floor, or there's not really, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, in Deceive Inc, collecting the currency there's like a mind game to it, because if you collect too much currency in a row, other people or other spies are going to know that NPC's collecting a bit too much currency. We need to get that money. So yeah, you can like kind of play mind games with it. You can't be collecting too much intel, because you give away yourself. So I like how they've implemented the currency in this game. Let's talk about control schemes. During the beta, it was a little bit buggy at times. On launch, hopefully it's fixed and it's working nice and smooth. Yeah, apart from that, the control scheme was quite easy. I'll say it's quite easy to understand. Obviously, with it being a new game, it's going to be, there's going to be that little bit of a learning curve. But overall, I'll say, yeah, the control scheme was decent. I would say the only thing I didn't really like, I played it on console, or controller should I say, played it on PC but on controller. And the only thing I don't like, so you get 2 gadgets. And let me use this as an example. To use your 2 gadgets, you had to scroll with the triangle button. So let's say you wanted to use your second gadget, you had to press triangle twice, which I didn't like, because in that time you're pressing twice, let's say someone on PC, they've pressed 1 or they've pressed 2, and they're already on the gadget that they want. On controller, unless there's a way to change that, and you got to press triangle twice to get to your second gadget. That's the one thing I didn't like. Responsiveness, I felt like everything seemed quite responsive, but yeah, there were, as I said, there were some bugs or glitches where you would like keep on swapping out your items and you couldn't stop it, and you had to just like press random buttons to get control of what your character is holding. So that was a little bit weird, but overall, in the 22 hours that I played, it was quite responsive. Everything seemed good. The only thing, there was also some frame drops, and there were stability issues with PS5. But I believe that they said that they fixed it, or they've made quite a few improvements in their patch notes. So fingers crossed. Difficulty and learning curve. So for me, as someone that's very slow sometimes, in my brain, I'm very slow sometimes, I found it, I don't know, it took me a while to really understand like what's going on, what do I need to really do. The tutorial was okay, but maybe because the place that you do the tutorial was completely different from the maps that I played on. So I think maybe the tutorial was a little bit too easy. It was too easy So when I went into an actual match, it was almost like I had no clue what I was doing, because you just thrown out in the tutorial. You're in some little small area. When you go into the actual match, you're thrown out into the big world. There's other people trying to kill you, and it's just a lot to take in at once. So yeah, it was kind of, I would say it was quite difficult to like really understand. But then again, I was playing with people as well, so they were kind of carrying me. And when you're playing with someone and they're carrying you, you're not really learning yourself. That's why I like to play solos a lot, because you're actually learning the game on your own. You're not just getting carried. So yeah, there is, to be honest, there is a little bit of a learning curve. It's not just you just play and you just know what to do. It might take you a few matches if you haven't watched any guides, or if you don't have a clue what the game is about. But I would say once you do know, I would say it is quite straightforward. You basically just collect cards, go get the briefcase, and get out. That's basically what you're doing. Let's talk about the level design and the mission design. I feel like the mission design is really good, and I feel like the level designs are really good as well. I wouldn't say I really have any issues with either of them. Yeah, I feel like they're decent. I don't even know what to say about those. They're decent. I've had a lot of fun, going to collect the briefcase. You don't even have to collect the briefcase sometimes. Sometimes you can just relax, let other people do it. And then if you want, you can do a 1v1 with them, or, just try and get the briefcase back from them. Yes, decent. Combat system. I like the combat in Deceive Inc. It's not too quickly to kill. Like you can't just die, or you can, but it's rare that you just die, like just get obliterated. It's usually you have some time to escape and come back and all that kind of stuff. In a lot of other shooting games, it's kind of, if somebody sees you first, then you're dead. It's not like that in Deceive Inc. Stealth mechanics. Is there really any stealth mechanics? There's not. You can turn into objects and stuff like that. I don't know if you would call that a stealth mechanic. It kind of is. I don't know if you would really call that a stealth mechanic. Is that really a stealth mechanic? I'm not too sure. But the NPC mechanics I really do like. The way that you can just, disguise yourself in any NPC. I feel like it's just different. Like, I can't think of a game where, well, apart from Among Us or Among Us type games, where everyone looks the same and you have no clue who is who. And that's one of the other things that, it's intense. Like, it keeps you on edge because you don't know who's who. So your mind doesn't turn off. Puzzles and problem solving. There's not really any puzzles or problem solving in this game, to be fair. Like I said, once you know what to do, there's not really puzzles and problem solving in this game. I like the player progression and the skill trees as well. Like, it has some depth to it. It's not too in-depth to where you need to do studies and all that kind of stuff, and you need to look at guides and all that kind of stuff. Once you know how to play the game, you can kind of figure out how you want to build your character and, that kind of stuff. You have different expertises, which is your abilities. You have different weapons you can use, and you have different passives. Apart from those three, you also have basically perks or field upgrades, as they're called in Deceive Inc. And yeah, there's even the field upgrades. They're very easy to understand. They give you all the numbers of what they're going to help with. For example, it might be something like when you eat food, you heal for 100% extra, or when you do social interactions, which is stuff like pretending to be an NPC, like cleaning or sitting down, you get 1 HP every second, for example. So yeah, the player recursion is nice. It's easy to understand, and yes, can't really think of a way that they would change it or add to it. I feel like, you know, what they have now is decent. It's good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Side quests and activities. There's no, I don't really say there's activities. All you need to do is just, you know, go collect the cards, as I said, and, you know, extract. So there's not really any activities like that. Replayability and end game content. So at the moment, I don't know if we have any info on if there will be ranked or any kind of tournament mode or anything like that. So I can't really talk about end game content, but they have said that they will be, or they are thinking about introducing, you know, private matches, which would be good. That would be good, you know. Everyone likes to play with their friends and beat up their friends every now and again. And for me, the replayability, I played it a lot in the beta. I played 100 matches. I think it was like 99 matches or something like that. It was basically 100 matches. So for me, replayability is good. I didn't want to come off the game. All right, let's look at the characters. So we have 8 agents. I would say all of the agents are quite different. They all give you like a different vibe. They all feel very different to play. Their abilities are very different. Their weapons are also, I'd say most of them are actually quite different. Obviously, in any shooting game, you're going to have, you know, the standard shotgun user, the standard revolver, standard sniper, etc., etc. But at the moment, yeah, I like where they're going with the agents. I feel like they all have their own personality as well. The customization as well. I even just recently released a video about all of the customization. I'll put it in the description below. And yeah, there's quite a bit of customization. You can't really like chop and change the customization. For example, like you have a pink jacket and then like a blue trousers. If you want to like swap it around, you can't really do that. You just pick the bundles that are there. That could be a little bit better. Also, most of the skins are basically reskins, or not reskins, recolors. So yeah, I would say if they could work on one thing, that would be the one thing. You know, give us more flexibility with the customization. But I like that they've given us a load of colors. They've given us a load of colors to play with. Loadouts and spy gadgets. The gadgets, I like the gadgets. The gadgets are very, again, they all do different things well. I like them. I don't really have too much to say about the gadgets, but yeah, they're good. All right, cross-platform. Yeah, it's got cross-platform multiplayer. The PvP is working nicely as well. I don't feel like I had any issues with matchmaking. The matchmaking was fine, and that was in the beta. So in the actual game, then it should be even better. It should be perfect. If there's nobody in your region, then it puts you in another region, which is good as well. So let's say you're playing at, I don't know, 4 a.m. in your region, everyone's sleeping. If it can't find anyone for you, it's going to put you in another region. So yeah, it's decent. All right, I'm going to talk about the different game modes. At the moment, we have solos, which is 10 solos, 10 solo spies fighting for that briefcase to extract. And trios, which is 3 teams of 4. And yeah, they're the same mode, basically, or the same objective. You gotta get the briefcase and extract. I can't really think of, maybe like a capture the flag, or maybe like a team deathmatch. Besides that, I can't really think of other game modes that they might put in. I'm thinking ranked and custom games. That's what I want to see, next. At least custom matches. That's the most important one. If you don't want to put in ranked, that's, just, if that's what you believe is right, then, do your thing. The people, the community, we will do our own tournaments and our own customs and stuff. But at least give us customs, please. Private matches, we need it. We need them bragging rights. The balance of the characters and the meta. So there's definitely certain characters that are much better at doing certain things. Oh yeah. So yeah, there's different classes. I didn't even say different classes. We have 4 classes: Vanguard, which are, I think they're described as being self-reliant and they can, survive through thick and thin and all that kind of stuff. We have Scoundrels they're like the trickster type. Yeah, they can get out of sticky situations basically using invisibility or teleportation. We have disruptors. They basically control what other people do. For example, if you come across certain disruptors, they will stop you from using your abilities, or they'll, slow you down, or, that kind of stuff. They'll, interrupt your movement, that kind of stuff. They're a disruptor. They're disrupting what you're trying to do. And we also have, what's the last one? We have, Tracker. Yeah, so Tracker, they're good at basically keeping track of, people. It's in the name. Yeah, where was I going with that? Balance. Oh yeah. Obviously it's still early days, but I feel like all of the agents, they all have something that works well for them. They all have like a strength. They all have a weakness. I wouldn't say there's anyone that is like way above the rest. I think in team games, you know what? I feel like in the different modes, certain characters are going to be better with people, like with teammates, and then certain characters are going to be better as solos. But at the moment, yeah, I'd say the balance is all right. The balance is okay. The developers are making constant changes to the numbers, making tweaks to the abilities and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with it. What else do we have here? Let's talk about let's talk about the graphics. The graphics for me, I feel like they've gone with like a very basic, simple, nice, easy on the eye kind of art style. I feel like it's an art style that a lot of people will, it's it's Fortnite, but Spies is the next Fortnite. It just looks like Fortnite. I feel like that's a lot of people are gonna say that, and those people are just ignore them. Don't listen to them. They're silly. Yeah, Fortnite graphics and art style is fine. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't have to be dark and bloody and gritty like Call of Duty. Just not everything needs to look like a war zone. The graphics and the art style is fine. I like it. It's cute. Character design as well, as I said, the characters all feel different. There's quite a diverse cast at the moment. Anyway, we'll see what they put in the future, but for now, it's quite a diverse cast. You got Asian people in there. You got, to be honest, I don't know where Chavez is. Chavez is the black guy. I don't know where he's from. But yeah, you got Asian, you got white, you got black. There's a nice little mix. The environment. Did I already talk about this? I was going to talk about the environment and level design. I feel like I already spoke about this. Anyway, yeah, I already spoke about that. The lighting is nice. You can see where you're going. You never have to be straining your eyes. It's really easy to see what's going on. The animations and cutscenes. There's not really cutscenes like that. I think once the game starts, there's no cutscenes. I think the only cutscene is when you're loading into the match. The intro pose, so just before you go into the match, all of the agents will do a little pose at the start, and I thought that's the only real cutscene. Maybe they can find a way to put in some more, but yeah, for now there's not really any cutscenes like that, so I can't comment on that. The animations, I feel like the animations are alright. Nothing too special, decent. Performance and optimization, as I was saying, that there was a few little glitches and bugs every now and again. I personally, if I did crash, then it was maybe like once, and I think I played 3 different days. I think I played 3 different days. I played like 22 hours, and I don't think I crashed. And if I did, then it was probably like maximum once or twice in 22 hours. It's not too bad. All right, let's talk about the sound. The sound. The music, I love the music. It's catchy. you know, simple. They're not doing too much. It's just, you know, nice little catchy spy detective music. I feel like anyone that listens to it as well, you know, they just get hooked. It's catchy. The sound effects as well, when you're like shooting people and when you get kills, it's very like you can hear, you can like you're getting feedback about it. It makes this dun, 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 that kind of sound, and yeah, it's decent. The voice acting as well, you might notice that there are some the actors or the characters, should I say, they do make some. They tell some jokes sometimes. They say a few things. I don't think they say too much, but yeah, I like the voice acting. It's decent. Um, what would I say needs to be improved on? The ping system. The ping system is a little bit weird. You can't like ping specific things. Like if you see, let's say, I don't know, let's say you've seen a gadget on the floor, or you've seen, I don't know, intel to be collected, or you've seen a purple card to get into the vault room, or etc. You can't ping it specifically. And even when you do, the ping can be a little bit weird to figure out where it is as well. So I think the ping system is one thing that they could work on. Also, when you're looking at the different passives, the different weapons, and the different abilities, it can be a little bit like it shows on the screen, but it shows like right in the bottom corner of the screen. It doesn't really make too much sense. You should just be able to just have it in the center of the screen, be able to see what's going on. It doesn't really do that. So yeah, they need to, if you play the game or you see gameplay of it, then you'll see what I mean in the pre-game lobby of people, you know, messing about with their weapons and their passives and all that kind of stuff. That could also be, you know, fixed. But what I really do love, the community around this game. I haven't seen, obviously it's still early days, but you know, it's really good. It's really good. Until like maybe the FPS sweats come in and start cussing everyone. But like the community is just a nice little tight knit community, you know, good vibes. Everyone's helping each other, giving each other, you know, numbers on how much damage each character does, and you know, giving each other hints and tips on how to use different characters and all that kind of stuff. I like that kind of stuff. And, you know, hopefully it stays that way. Yeah, hopefully it stays that way. And the developers as well and the publishers, they're always talking with us, interacting with us on social media, the Discord as well. If you're not part of the Deceive Inc Discord, you need to join it, because that's where our little spot. That's where we're always talking. The pricing, I would say the pricing is decent, to be fair. In UK, where I am, it was $16.99. You know, they're not trying to compete with the AAA titles up there with the 50 and the £60 and the £2,000 collector's edition and all that kind of stuff. But you know, they gave themselves a price. They didn't go for the free to play model, which I don't know if I would say I'm surprised, but obviously it feels like everything nowadays is free to play. They didn't go with the free to play model, so you know, I kind of respect that at the same time. And they said, you know what, no, we're not going to be free. We got some value. You got to pay up. I like that. Yeah. So overall impressions, as you can probably tell, I love the game. You need to get the game. There's still, it has so much potential. It is the developers, I can tell that they're passionate about this game. They have developer diaries. They've got flipping uploads of them in their office doing work, and you know what it takes to be a bandit, and you know, because their name is Sweet Bandits, you know what it takes to be a bandit. And I just love all of that kind of stuff, man. It just makes the game feel alive. It makes it feel like it's not just made by some corporate, you know, like just some corporate people. It's made by actual gamers, made by actual humans that want to see their game do well as well. So yeah, I would say try out the game. It's £17. It's in US dollars. I think that's like $19.99. So $20 in US. In UK, £17. It's nothing, man. Come on, just come on. That's like one takeaway, maybe two, 1.5 takeaways. Just try out the game. I'm gonna be playing the game a lot. It's definitely gonna be my main. It's gonna be my main game for now, at least. It's definitely gonna be my main shooting game because I don't really play shooting games like that anyway. But this game is different. It's got a lot of potential. Let me know in the comments what you think about Deceive Inc. If you have played it already, if you play it after watching this review, let me know what you think as well. And yeah, I do a lot of Deceive Inc content, so make sure you check out the rest of the videos. I'm gonna, because it's the first time I've done a podcast, I don't know if you can link stuff like here, but I'm guessing you can. If you can, then I'm gonna link a video that I think you'll really like right here. Yeah. Until next time, do what makes you happy.